Hello, everybody. RMJ Movie Reviews back again on Christmas Day with my holiday movie review of what some consider a classic, Home Alone from 1990, starring Macaulay Culkin. Yes, folks, this is a very old VHS copy of the tape. I actually was over my mom's and we were cleaning out her house for the summer because she's trying to sell her house. And I actually found this in the basement. Like you can see from the corners that this is a really old copy. I think I got this around my birthday. My 9th, 10th birthday, I think, when this thing came out, if I remember right. But either way, Home Alone is especially for folks who were my age, who were little kids when this film came out. I believe I was 8 years old when this film came out. I think I was 8 when this film came out. But this is, of course, the movie that launched Macaulay Culkin's very short career, which would be between Uncle Buck and Home Alone 2, 3 movies, and then pretty much from there, it was a steady decline. But Home Alone tells the story of Kevin McAllister, and his family is having a big old giant trip for Christmas. They're gonna go to Paris, so the McAllisters got some bucks there because there's like 25, 30 people who are all going on this giant family trip to Paris. And Kevin gets into an argument with his family the night before. They lock him in the attic. Then they take off because they oversleep because of the storm. And then next thing you know, they leave Kevin at the house where he has to fend for himself and fight off evil burglars trying to break into the nice Chicago homes, nice suburban Chicago homes. This movie is, I was kind of surprised of the last time I actually watched Home Alone. I mean, I'm serious. Like, sat up, and yes, I'm one of the millions of hundreds of children at the time who actually went to go see this at the theater, and I saw the second one at the theater. I never saw the third one. Never wanted to. I believe I might have saw like 2 minutes of the third one on like HBO, like way back in the '90s sometime, and it just looked stupid, and I cut it off. But one of the things that I find is that Home Alone was, and kind of going back and reading reviews, Home Alone was a big hit with audiences, like, people who were children at the time, like myself. But, I was watching kind of stuff like Siskel and Ebert and all that, and they really bashed the movie, namely for, like, the violence with the burglars at the end with Daniel Stern and Joe Pesci at the end of the movie. I think, if anything, rewatching the movie again, there's moments from your childhood where there's some things that you see when you're a kid, they leave an impression on you, like Home Alone, The Goonies, and then there's some that have replay value and some that don't. I think, surprisingly, the way I felt about it was I'm not really sure if the replay value for Home Alone is really up there with The Goonies. The Goonies, I still actually, I'm gonna do a review on that one day too. But The Goonies, I can still watch. I still genuinely love The Goonies. I genuinely think it's a good movie. I like it. The Monster Squad, I still like that movie to this day. Although that's a little bit more for teenagers, but I saw it when I was a kid. I don't know, man. Home Alone this time, I felt kind of watching it now. There's still some gags in here that I think are funny, but obviously the movie is the Macaulay Culkin show. The whole movie was squarely aimed as a showcase vehicle for him because of his cutesy wincy moments he had in Uncle Buck. And this movie is tailor designed for him, man. I mean, there's so much yucking up for the camera with Macaulay Culkin go, "I'm a kid, that's my job." This dude has as many one-liners as Arnold Schwarzenegger and Freddy Krueger. I mean, they just don't stop. Watching it now, I can definitely, I can see that it was strictly written for children. I can't say all of Macaulay Culkin's lines necessarily stand the test of time. I think they're cutesy wootsy and all that kind of stuff, but I found myself kind of getting a little bit annoyed by some of them. And I remember even at the time when this movie came out, I remember my first cousin kept telling me about Home Alone, Home Alone, Home Alone. I had seen Uncle Buck at the theater the year before, but Macaulay Culkin wasn't a name yet, so I had no idea who he was when my cousin kept telling me about this movie where the kid was in the house, and he kept telling me particularly about the line with the I can't talk to you because I'm a stranger, where he's buying the groceries, and that stuff is funny. I think for me, watching it now, the stuff that really more is funny to me is watching the adult actors. In particular, I totally forgot John Candy pops up in this movie for a cameo, but when John Candy pops up, man, I love the line where he's talking to the actress, I think Catherine O'Hara is her name, and he's talking about how she's like, have you ever left your child? And he's like, oh yeah, me and my wife left my kid in a funeral home. And he was like, we left the kid with the corpse all night long. And the kid started talking again about 8 weeks later. I was like, what? I mean, if John Candy was crazy, man, I so wish he wouldn't have passed away, man. But kind of the stuff with the adults, I kind of found more enjoyable. But I gotta admit, the stuff that's still funny is the stuff with the Daniel Stern and Joe Pesci getting smacked in the face with ironing boards and being blowtorched and burned and stepping on nails. And I know it sounds sounds perfect for children the way I describe it. And getting spiders thrown on their faces and all that stuff is goofy, Three Stooges-esque kind of fun. But Home Alone is purely commercial fluff. If I could compare this movie to anything, all right, kind of like Michael Bay movies, right? Michael Bay movies are made for the lowest common denominator of teenage male audiences. Explosions, 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 no character, forced humor, okay? Some of Tyler Perry's movies are written to the lowest common denominator of female Christian audiences. Zero substance, but you just hit the tropes. Some dude beating up his wife, he's cheating on her, the girl comes back at the end of the movie, slaps him across the face and says, I don't need you no more. Home Alone is the equivalent of those two examples I just gave you. It's just only for children. So you just put Macaulay Culkin up there and go, ah, and the smiley face and the one-liners and the lip singing, and pretty much that's all it is to it. There's no other substance to this movie at all. It's a glossy, pretty, pure commercial fluff movie aimed at kids, starring Macaulay Culkin, and it worked. I mean, the movie was a smash box office hit. I remember when me and my parents went to go see it. I mean, that was long after the movie had already been out for a long time. But I mean, that movie just kept going when it was out. I mean, for kids who weren't old enough to remember, I mean, this movie was gigantic when it came out. It just kept going. And and I was one of the kids too. I was yucking it up in the theater and cracking up. But I will say the stuff with the burglars and John Candy and some of the stuff with the parents and the other one in particular that is still hilarious is the stuff with him watching the gangster movie, to keep the change, you filthy animal. And I love when he does it to the pizza dude, and the guy goes, cheapskate. That scene is still hilarious to me. And also too, Kevin is kind of a little bit of the kid's a little bit of a dick. He really is, man. I mean, I don't know if I had called my mom a dummy like that, I probably would have got the beating of my life. And also, Kevin probably would have had a good career in engineering because this kid's mind, he can devise the best traps and all these little things, Michael Jordan statues to make the burglars think that somebody is home. That's funny too to watch this movie and see VCRs and Michael Jordan logos and all that stuff from that time. So, Home Alone is a nice commercial piece of fluff, commercial nostalgic piece of fluff from the past. I can't necessarily say it necessarily stands the test of time, in my opinion. So nobody beat me up here. That's just my opinion. I just think it's the fluffy Macaulay Culkin show. That's not saying I think it's bad. I'm just simply saying for what it is, we all know what it is. But regardless, I have nostalgia for it. I wouldn't necessarily jump to this movie over Uncle Buck or Planes, Trains or Christmas Vacation or Goonies or some of the other ones. But again, still, this is a part of my childhood. It's an okay movie, but I can kind of see the flaws more now as I've gotten older, because I haven't watched this movie in, man, it's been a long time since I watched this all the way through. And watching it on my old VHS tape kind of made it all the better. But that completes my review of Home Alone for today on Christmas Day. I'm going to finish out the month of December with some more Christmassy, holiday-themed kind of movies. My next movie review is actually going to be Die Hard 2. Die Harder. I decided, since I did the first one and I did the Lethal Weapon, I kind of want to do another action picture. So my next movie review is going to be Die Hard 2, directed by Rennie Harlin, starring Bruce the Asshole Willis. RMJ Movie Review. Subscribe to my channel. Make some comments about Home Alone. Share the video and spread the joy. Merry Christmas and see you next time.